lost on Anishinaabe. This is Navajo Grandma. This, again, is a continuation of our, I guess, the understanding of the different tribal chiefs, and just incredible. We've learned about so many, and today we have one of my favorite. His name is Tecumseh. This is a statue, and hopefully you can see him better. I don't know how far you can see. This is a statue. There is also a sketching that shows him before he died. He wore an ostrich feather, and here is a picture that was sketched. Beautiful, beautiful. And so, an incredible man. Now we're going to go through all of these as quick as I can. I want you to understand the environment that Tecumseh was under, and I'm going to rehearse quite a few, and so hopefully you can understand what he was going through, what he had been seeing, all the wars and different problems that were around him, and because of the European influx. The first one of these is the biggest Native American win against the United States Army. And Jamestown Massacre, March 22nd, 1622, as part of the decades-long time Powhatan Wars, Powhatan chief Opechancanough led an attack that left nearly 350 of some 1,200 colonists dead. The English retaliated, attacking Native American villages, raiding and destroying crops and forcing them from their land. The next one, the Pequot Wars, and this is here is a map, and I want to show you the map. And basically the yellow area right here, and I hope you can see it, this is where the Mohicans and their Narragansett tribes were. The Pequots were right below. They were by the ocean, and Mystic right here. Can you see where that is? Mystic is where they were living at the time. And so on Wednesday, May 10th, the Connecticut Army, composed of 90 colonists and 70 Mohican and Narragansett Indians, traveled to Mystic around and surrounded the Pequots' fort there. In the lower right, if you can see, right here. And I'm going to read this. The Pequots were a warlike tribe, okay, who had subjugated dozens of other tribes throughout the area during the 16s, 20s, and 30s. In an attempt to control the region's fur and wampum trade, there was more going on than the tribes being overtaken by the Pequots and being angry and wanting out from under them. There was also a conflict with the Dutch and English, because now that the English were on the scene, trading became an issue. Everybody wanted a piece of the action. All of this area was prime trading area because of the access of the rivers, what is now known as Long Island Sound and the Atlantic Ocean. The eastern edge of the Pequot territory bordered on what later became Rhode Island, where it says Narragansett on the map, if you see right here. There was also a couple of traders that were said to have been killed by the Pequot. And this is from the paper in the Hartford New Old Times. It says, on May 1st, 1637, the General Court at Hartford ordered that there should be an offensive war against the Pequot. Be ready for battle. At the end of the Pequot War, about 700 Pequots had been killed and taken into captivity. Hundreds of prisoners were sold into slavery to colonists in Bermuda or the West Indies. Other survivors were dispersed as captives to the victorious tribes. The result was the elimination of the Pequot tribe in southern New England, and the colonial authorities classified them as extinct. The survivors who remained in the area were absorbed into local tribes, as was stated before. With the British competing to control the fur and wampum trade in colonial Connecticut, tensions led to a series of conflicts, including May 26, 1637, Attack by English militia and Narragansett and Mohegan tribe members against the Pequot at Mystic, ending in hundreds of Pequot deaths, many of them children and women. Fearing more attacks, many Pequots left their territory, and the war ended with the Treaty of Hartford, which dissolved the Pequot Nation. As you can tell, here they are. They're seeing that the ships are coming in. And here is the Mystic village where they basically killed the women and children. The Beaver Wars from 1640 to 1701. And if you can see these pictures, I'm trying to put it at an angle so you can see them better with the sunshine. And the central conflicts of the Beaver Wars centered around land coverage and control. All parties involved wanted portions of the Great Lakes and Hudson River Valley for the ability to hunt and control the fur trade, particularly coveted beaver fur pelts and trading with the English for firearms, tools, and other supplies. For the 60 years of fur trade battles, indigenous tribes sided with either the French or the Dutch and British, the Iroquois Confederacy of Ohio St. Lawrence River against French-supported Algonquin-speaking tribes. The next scenario was King Philip's War, July 4, 1678 to August 12, 1676. And if you can look at that, hope you can see it. After Massasoit's death in 1661, his eldest son, Wamsutta, later named Alexander, succeeded him. In 1662, the English arrested Alexander on suspicion of plotting war. During questioning, he died, and Metacom, now known as Phillip, as many Wampanoags took English names, came to power. Metacom was the second son of Wampanoag chief Massasoit, who had negotiated a peace treaty with the colonists at Plymouth Plantation. But the agreement wasn't enough to stop the colonists' encroachment on Indian lands. Then the execution of 3 Wampanoag chief Metacom's men, in addition to increasing encroachment on Native American land, spurred one of the deadliest conflicts per capita in American history, also known as the Great Narragansett War. Metacom, named King Philip by the English, took place in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and coastal Maine. Metacom and his coalition retaliated, attacking colonists and settlements who were aided by the Mohawks and Mohegans. It ended with Metacom's death on August 12, 1676. That environment everyone was in, and Tecumseh knew about this. He was watching, he heard about it, he knew what was going on. And thus, as we remember, the tensions between the native peoples of North America and settlers existed from the very first moment the Europeans set foot in the New World. As the population in North America grew, the strain inevitably expanded, putting more and more pressure on tribes in the interior of the continent. Trading with European settlers allowed Native Americans to obtain goods previously unknown to them, causing further tensions. Many Native Americans despised the materials that Europeans brought, such as alcohol, because they threatened the traditional way of life. This fear, as well as the continental encroachment by white settlers, inevitably led to violence. One Native American who resisted westward expansion was a Shawnee leader named Tecumseh. Tecumseh was born March 1768, and he died October 15, 1812. And his alias name was Panther Across the Sky. Tecumseh began life in the Shawnee village of Pequot, Ohio, on March 9, 1768, as a great meteor flashed and burned its way across the heavens. This event accounts for his name, the Shooting Star, or Celestial Panther, lying in wait. Tecumseh grew to be a famous warrior and dynamic orator. These skills, paired with his belief that the white man would never rest until all American Indians were disposed, made him a powerful and influential force. Tecumseh, being born in south central Ohio, growing up around the border conflict in the Ohio Valley during the last quarter of the 1700s, Puck Chinois meaning young eagle, straight-tailed. His father was a minor war chief and was killed in the Battle of Point Pleasant in the French and Indian Wars. Metataske, his mother, left him to be raised by his sister Tecumseh when she moved to Missouri with other tribal members. When Tecumseh was a teenager, he joined the Iroquois League led by Chief Joseph Brant, also known as Thayendanegea, of the Mohawks. Brant was an advocate for tribes to join together to defend their land against encroaching settlers. As a young warrior, Tecumseh led a raiding party against colonist boats to cut off their supply chain on the Ohio River. However, after witnessing a colonist being burnt alive by members of his own tribe, he realized that this kind of brutality from either side was unnecessary and strongly criticized his fellow tribesmen. On November 4th, 1791, under the orders of Shawnee's chief, Blue Jacket, Tecumseh led a scouting party at the Battle of Wabash, where 952 of 1,000 of the American soldiers, led by the U.S. General St. Clair, were killed. On June 30th, 1794, Tecumseh was involved in an unsuccessful attack at Fort Recovery, leading to the Battle of Fallen Timbers, the last major battle of the Northwest Territory Indian War, leading to the signing of the Treaty of Greenville, which Tecumseh strongly criticized the chiefs who signed. Tecumseh's Confederacy. In the early 1800s, Tecumseh wanted to unite the native tribes west of the Appalachian Mountains. This was because he believed to properly transfer land to colonists was if all the tribes agreed. He believed the land belonged to the master of life, Shawnee's main god, and therefore no tribe could sell the land. In 1808, Tecumseh joined his brother Tenskwatawa at Prophetstown in Indiana Territory. His brother was a prominent Native American religious leader known as the Prophet. Tecumseh tried to use his brother's religious following to discourage natives from assimilating. And Tecumseh's brother said if the tribes ended their reliance on colonial goods, the master of life would drive settlers away from their land. Tecumseh then attempted to recruit tribes throughout the Northwest Territory and southern United States. Most listened to Tecumseh's ideas, but many rejected them. The Battle of Tippecanoe. This is his comment. It's beautiful. Where today are the Pequot? Where are the Narragansett, the Mohican, the Poconet, and other powerful tribes of our people? They have vanished before the avarice and oppression of the white man, as snow before the summer sun. Will we let ourselves be destroyed in our turn without making an effort worthy of our race? Shall we, without a struggle, give up our homes, our lands, bequeathed to us by the Great Spirit, the graves of our dead, and everything that is dear and sacred to us? I know you will say to me, never, never. That was spoken by Tecumseh, 1811. The fall of 1811, Indiana Governor William Henry Harrison sent 1,000 soldiers to station on a near Prophetstown on the Tippecanoe and Wabash rivers, while Tecumseh was in the south recruiting tribes. On November 6, Tecumseh's brother requested to meet with Governor Harrison. Then on the morning of November 7th, his brother, against Tecumseh's wishes, attacked the American camp, ensuing the Battle of Tippecanoe, a devastating loss for Tecumseh's Confederacy, and resulted in Prophetstown being burnt down. When Tecumseh returned, he tried to rebuild his Confederacy, ultimately failed. The War of 1812. The War of 1812 began on June 1st after the United States declared war on Britain. The tribes of the Northwest Territory had split alliances between the British and the United States. This is why Tecumseh and a small band of warriors went to Michigan to assist British Major General Sir Isaac Brock at the siege of Detroit, leading to the surrender of American Brigadier William Hull, General William Hull. In the spring of 1813, Tecumseh and British Major General Henry Proctor combined troops to attack William Henry Harrison in the siege of Fort Meigs. When Harrison's forces counterattacked, Proctor and Tecumseh retreated into Canada. This is one of the great words that Tecumseh spoke, knowing that they believe he had a premonition he was going to pass on. Death. Our lives are in the hands of the Great Spirit, he said. We are determined to defend our lands, and if it is his will, we wish to leave our bones upon them. In the moments before the battle began the next morning, Tecumseh passed along the British lines. In his handkerchief, rolled as a turban over his brow, was placed a handsome white ostrich feather. In the spring of 1813, Tecumseh joined British Major General Henry Proctor, and together they led their respective forces in the siege of Fort Meigs, which was commanded by Tecumseh's old nemesis, William Henry Harrison. When Harrison's forces counterattacked, Proctor and Tecumseh retreated farther into Canada at the Thames River in present-day southern Ontario. Though Proctor promised Tecumseh he would send reinforcements, they never showed up. On October 5th, 1813, Tecumseh's small 500-man force was overrun by Harrison's 3,000-man army, and Tecumseh was killed. The circumstances surrounding Tecumseh's death and burial are unclear. At the time, there were several claims that one or another American soldier had killed him, though none of these claims had ever been confirmed. It is currently believed that Tecumseh's body was carried off the field and secretly buried in an unmarked grave. Tecumseh's death marked the decline of Native American resistance in the Ohio River Valley and most of the middle and southern United States. Exhausted Native American tribes were subsequently moved west of the Mississippi River over the next several decades. During his life, Tecumseh's political leadership, compassion, and bravery attracted the respect of friends and foes alike. And in the time since, mythology has developed around him that has transformed him into an American folk hero. So he says, "So live your life, so the fear of death can never enter your heart. Trouble no one about their religion. Respect others in their views and demand that they respect yours. Show respect to all people, but never grovel to none. A single twig breaks, but the bundle of twigs is strong." I reverence my brother Tecumseh. And I could carry on, but I think I would end up weeping. The bravery of these chiefs. Always. Their strengths always consisted of God, of the Great Spirit. All that is holy, and we call them, and our Navajo people call them the Holy Ones, God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Ghost. And this is the strength of and the heartbeat of all Native Americans. Now I'm going to bravely say it is all Native Americans, but I'm so sorry that many are modernized where they refuse to believe that the Great Spirit doesn't even exist anymore. But you and I, and hopefully all of us, remember this, and that He does become our strength in every situation. As I spoke to you a long time ago, the life of a Native American, if you want to emulate them, it is deeply sober. I look around me, and you look at how beautiful it is out here. You don't have TVs, you don't have your phones and all of the things that distract you. There's nothing out here. There's a road that it's not paved. There are the beautiful trees, the animals. All of these are given to us by the Great Spirit, by God. And if you want to live a life of sobriety, complete sobriety, away from the world, this is the way of our ancestors. And we are so meshed into the modernization and this of our lives that we forget so often, because we're so enamored with our yachts, our homes, that we have a better car than that person, or I look better, or my hair's dyed better, or my nails are longer and my heels are better. I mean, ridiculous things. I'm more talented. I'm an attorney. I'm, the most ridiculous standings. Do you know that when you and I stand before our God, none of this, it will be gone. You will stand naked in front of your God, meaning your station in life, nothing is going to matter. But what you have here, and all the good that you heard, and all the good that you spoke, all that which you saw, that was good. All that you touched was good. That's it. There's great power in the sobriety of being sober and remembering prayer. Think about what these chiefs did. Their strength was prayer. Their humility, their love, their compassion. You hear about Tecumseh. He was full of compassion for his people, for all Native American tribes. And like you said, where are the Pequots? Where are the Narragansetts? Where are they? What happened to them? That was in his time. And he was saying, because of the white people, the Europeans who came and killed them and took over. And such is like the plan of who? The holy ones for us. Now let's use their strength. You need to humble yourself and pray always. And that's all Grandma's going to say. I hope you choose to be like these great chiefs and humble yourself with sobriety and with prayer every day. Make the way clear that you will live to see the goodness come about. I hope that that's my prayer for you. I love you all. Hagoinat. This is Navajo Grandma.